Brandon, it's such a pleasure being able to spend some time with you, brother. I am excited about this new series we're putting together. It's going to be such a benefit to 1099 reps, W2 reps, really to the whole aesthetics and wellness longevity industry as we know it. So, man, thanks so much for joining.
Absolutely. Congratulations on the recent funding. What you guys are doing at Aesthetic Sales Hero is incredible. I love being a part of it. And there's lots of layers how we're working together, but we're going to start off with 1099 versus W2 today.
Love it, man. Love it. So I genuinely am so curious and have so many questions around the differences between 1099 versus W2 reps. You are more than a veteran, and when it comes to this topic, you're a true industry expert and thought leader. So walk me through why is the 1099 route becoming so popular now? And then also, what are some of the watch outs and things that people maybe should consider that you can help them navigate?
So it's interesting. Me owning a careers in aesthetics, we recruit for W2 positions for some of the top device regenerative companies in the space. I've gotten so many inquiries from reps that are interested in a W2 role about going independent. I would say the top reasons are corporate politics, number one. Number two, the pressure that some of these companies are putting on reps to hit their numbers is overwhelming them and they're unrealistic. And so that's number two. Number three, the amount of money being made as an independent right now with residual type products like peptides and exosomes and regenerative medicine is greater than it's ever been before. When I first got into sales 20 plus years ago in med device, 1099 reps in the orthopedic space were the highest paid reps. And then it became a stigma. If you were 1099, you probably couldn't get a W2 job. And there's been a shift to where a lot of the top reps that have been in their territories for 10 plus years, they're like, wait a minute, do I really want to work for one company? Now, there are companies like Cyton and some incredible companies out there where the W2s are going to stay forever. But it's the companies that are giving a lot of corporate pressure, a lot of turnover with management, and a lot of pressure on their quota attainment where it's unrealistic, changing quotas to where reaching their goals and getting that commission check are unattainable. So a lot of these reps are stuck making their salary and they're hitting 95% of their quota and they're not getting paid anything in the injectable business.
So frustrating.
And in the device business, I know people that have sold devices where they don't make a dollar because they had to cut the profit so low in order to get the deal and they don't make anything, but it goes towards their quota, hoping that they're going to hit their number. So the 1099, I call it the rise of the 1099. The rise of the 1099 is residual income and not living and dying on the sword by selling just devices.
That makes so much sense. So much sense. Now, are you seeing some W2 reps also moonlighting on the 1099 side, if it's okay with their employers, or maybe even if it's not? What are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I've brought it up to quite a few CEOs that they should, specifically in the aesthetic device arena. So when you're selling an energy-based device and it's $100 to $250,000, there are doctors that aren't in the mode to buy that type of capital equipment. How do you keep your claws in the practice? How do you maintain this relationship when they're not ready on their timeline is a year from now? I think the best way to do it is to have access to things like peptides, right? So have access to exosomes where as a W2 rep, some of the top ones, they're not getting the blessing from their company, but they're doing it on the side where they are saying, hey, look, doc, I see you're offering peptides and you're in the GLP space. I've got a friend that's in the space that takes a comprehensive peptide approach and he offers more than just injectable peptides, oral peptides, a 3D AI body scanner to track patient progression. They connect me, they get paid. And all it is an intro. So I think, and that's what I did as a rep. I just didn't get paid for it. Now there are referral programs made by these companies to where, let's say it's peptides, reps can make a 10% ongoing commission simply through an introduction, and they're not doing the selling. All they're doing is being a true connector. It's helping the practice. it's making them more valuable. So they're more of a consultant versus just a device rep. And the ongoing
Yes.
joke in the device world is, what's the best way to get rid of a rep? It's to purchase.
Yes.
This brings more value to the practice and makes the sales rep more of a consultant.
Man, that really sounds fantastic. And the fact that they don't have to sell in the traditional sense, but that they get compensated for making a valuable referral to someone who's already been pre-qualified, pre-screened. So they've done that groundwork. They're adding value to their own role. And like you said, they're able to, get that relationship nurtured in the practice for the decision maker that's not ready to commit to, financing a brand new box or what have you. So what has the response been so far? Because this sounds very bleeding edge, very innovative when it comes to those CEOs that you've made that recommendation to.
So they're reluctant and they think it's a time warp, right? Where they're going to be spending more time on the residual than on the devices, but that's not the case. They understand what their W-2 role is. I believe that the top CEOs in the country, in order to keep their reps, are going to realize that this is the way things are, and the more willing they are to adopt to these new ways, the happier their reps will be. If I was the CEO of a device company right now, I would have a referral partnership with an exosome company, a peptide company, and a patient financing company. Those three segments add
Yes.
value to the practices, and all they do is lead generate for the company for them to close. You get a residual, the company gets a residual, the company adds razor blade type residual revenue.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
rep is more of a consultant. They have a new revenue stream, and it keeps them present with the practice when they're not in the buying mode to buy an expensive piece of equipment.
Yeah, that makes so much sense, and I can appreciate a CEO or a company wanting to drive those relationships from a more centralized posture. Okay, we've selected, let's say this particular exosome company that we feel comfortable associating ourselves with. I understand that makes sense, but or maybe they definitely, I agree with you. They need to capitalize on the momentum in the industry that's already happening, whether they realize it or want to be a part of it or not. And not to mention too, in some respects, this really isn't reinventing the wheel. I mean, we've seen manufacturers partnering with other companies, for years, right? Whether it's, this injectable company partnering with a skincare company, and then maybe a few years down the line, they end up acquiring that company. They've been testing and trying different things. So it's not like, toes haven't been tipped in this water before anyway.
Right.
So what's the downside?
I don't see a downside. And I'll give you an example. When I was the top rep at Cutera in 2012, we had a partnership with Obagi. And I was the only rep in the country that utilized the partnership. I did a ride along with every rep within my territory, and I hit 50% of my quota that year through the relationships with the Obagi reps. And they loved having me. The key was me telling them, you tell me what to say to the practice, what not to say, right? So you have to have that trusting relationship. In this case, I like it even better because there's no pressure on anything. So
Yeah.
if a
Yeah.
rep sees that they're offering peptides, they say, "Hey, I'm going to simply connect you." There's less pressure from the rep. It's more of a connecting opportunity with upside. So I think that the referral based program with no pressure is the absolute way to go. The other thing I'll tell you about these top 1099 reps, I know that a lot of skin better reps have gone independent recently. These reps were making $250,000 to $350,000. And what they saw was, if they can get 25 to 50 accounts ordering peptides and exosomes, they're going to be making almost as much as they were as a W-2 rep like that. So they have autonomy, they create their own schedule. You asked a question earlier about what's the downfall of being a 1099.
Yes.
So the number one mistake that people make when they become 1099 is they try to partner with a company that has a really high commission clip on an expensive device. The problem is, if you wait 3 to 4 months it's very difficult. You're only going to sell maybe one or two of those devices a year. And so the residual type income is the key to almost offsetting that lack of salary that they have. So the key is this: have 6 months worth of reserves. So because it's not going to happen overnight. Number one. Number two is to get, while you're a W-2 rep, is to get 5 to 10 customers under your belt as a referral partner. So you've got some revenue coming in, and you've got some key opinion leaders within that territory that can help you close deals. What a lot of 1099 reps tend to do is they try to make too many partnerships where they have a portfolio of 13 different companies they're working with, and they cast out a wide net and nothing sticks. So I think the key, and what I'm building with the former CEO of Abaji, Jordan Meyer, he
Yes.
saw how unorganized it was. Listen, as a recruiter, as an independent rep, it's hard to get paid by these companies consistently, right?
Is it?
You're
Is it?
it's some pay right on time. A lot of times you're chasing money, and that time is valuable. And so what we've created to help alleviate that, we actually negotiate best in class prices for our reps to offer their doctors these products, higher commissions, and then we actually are going to pay them every 2 weeks, whether they sell a device, peptides, exosomes, all in one paycheck. So they're not chasing down money. So we have the partnership with the manufacturers. The manufacturers are creating a training program, which I'm excited for you to tell our audience how Aesthetic Sales Hero is going to help ignite that. And then everything is organized in one paycheck. So they are spending less time on accounts receivable, negotiating contracts, and more time selling.
Man, I love that all so much. And for our audience, will you tell us again the name of the organization that you and Jordan are putting together? I know it, but I want you to share it.
Yeah, June 1st is our launch date. It's called 1099 Central. We have a comprehensive peptide approach with injectable peptides. We have oral dissolvable peptides that include weight management strips. They're like Listerine strips for needle phobic patients, for traveling reps that don't want to travel with needles, and for maintenance programs. We have a device that tracks patient progression. We have about 14 to 16 devices under our umbrella, and we're the exclusive sales team for them. But
Huge.
it's really exciting to have something to offer someone that has always wanted to go independent with a plug and play process.
Wow. Well, brother, I am so stoked to be on this journey with you and Jordan and your entire team, and excited that we've now kicked off this series. This has been just a wealth of information
Before
within
you
just a
end,
few minutes. Yeah.
explain what Aesthetic Sales Hero is going to do from a training perspective for 1099 Central.
Yeah, so briefly, what we're going to do is create the platform, the ecosystem, if you will, that anyone who's currently in that role or is interested in will have access to an ever expanding catalog of resources, training content that's engaging, that's relevant, that's cutting edge. They can actually get certified in the science, the data, the messaging around an unlimited number of devices, peptides, and so forth. And we're really excited about what it's going to do because, currently the approach to any kind of sales training is just completely fragmented. It's very dependent on, individual trainers or resources. It's more about like knowledge sharing as opposed to like driving and really ensuring true understanding and execution, right? That's measurable, that's really going to drive the ROI and the results people are looking for. So we're super stoked about it.
After our last conversation talking about role play, I put out a poll, and every single person in the poll said that role play is an uncomfortable way of learning, but the most effective. And what I'm most excited about, which is your daughter's name, Bianca, is the AI component where you can role play, whether you be an office team member, staff is for infection, team is for unity, by the way, and or a sales rep learning how to converse with the physician, nurse practitioner, provider on why peptides are relevant and why they would be beneficial for them to implement that into their practice.
Yeah, brother, thanks so much for bringing that up. I mean, we really believe that our approach to AI role play sales coach is absolutely, again, like bleeding edge. We're so excited with our early adapters and their response to the technology, which just keeps getting better and better. We think everything that we're doing is fundamentally going to change the game of our space. and for the better, because we're living into our own ethos and philosophy around using AI, not to eliminate people, but to elevate people, right? Let's use the robots to build better humans. What a concept.
Yeah. Hey, listen, AI will never replace a solid consultative sales professional.
You said it, brother. You
Hey,
said it.
I appreciate the time, Marco.
Appreciate you, Brandon. We'll talk soon, brother.
Thank you.
Bye.